What is the most brutal thing that I have ever seen the IRS do to a business owner with substantial back taxes? Oh, this one gives me the goosebumps just thinking about it every time that I do. But this is a true story, and there's a moral here to be learned if you're a business owner with a huge tax problem, particularly if your business has payroll tax problems. So this was a few years ago. I had a client who ran a contracting company. They were very successful on paper, but they had fallen way behind with their payroll taxes. And in fact, about $1.5 million in delinquent payroll taxes. So pretty bad, right? IRS showing up at their door, enforcing at the absolute highest level. So the guy hires us, we get it fixed for him, we get it resolved. But right when we think we're done, we get a notification from the IRS agent who's assigned to the account. The IRS agent says, I'm gonna go after the business owner's mom for the back taxes. And we said, what are you talking about, his mom? So it turns out that his mom was a 5% shareholder in the business that the taxpayer client had really just kind of put on there to keep it in the family, so to speak, to let his mom, be part of the family business, so to speak. But she was retired, she was elderly, she had no real control or say over anything in the business. So I remember getting this letter from the IRS saying that. Me and the client are like, oh my God. So this was a huge uphill battle. And the other thing that made it tough is that the client actually had his mom signing checks for his own convenience, right? She was doing like vendors or whatever, but the IRS will look at who signed the checks in the bank account to determine who might have been responsible for not paying the IRS. So that was a huge uphill battle. Luckily, after tons of negotiation, tons of reports, and tons of persuasion, really, we were able to get his mom off the hook. So she was able to avoid liability on a $1.5 million or so back payroll tax problem. Out of all the clients I've ever represented, this I think is like one of my favorite ones, because that was pretty cool, to keep this particular elderly lady who happened to be my client's mom out of huge tax troubles herself. So the point is, if you are a business owner with a substantial back IRS tax problem, particularly payroll taxes, these guys really don't mess around, and they'll go after everybody they possibly can. That, I would say, in my entire career is the most brutal experience I have ever had dealing with the Internal Revenue Service.